Hare Krishna.
Ratna.
ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांशः श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखापितांशः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश कविकांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवाचार्य गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमां विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवै गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जगद्गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
Some lectures started playing. I was thinking, what is this sound? Okay, so today, is this still chapters? I think it's chapter 7.
Yes, bro.
Yes.
Today, Sami bro, today, today is the Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas.
Is it today?
Yes, yes, bro.
Haribol.
Really auspicious day then. Revolt.
Yes, bro. In Katwa, West Bengal.
Yes, Prabhu. I've heard this story many times from, because there is one song lecture of Tadvavit Prabhu, and
Yes,
I listen that song, and then there's a lecture after that, and always he explains this same story about how he
yes,
took sannyas, and his mother didn't like it, and he changed a lot. Then he started to preach really boldly and in a really like aggressive way.
yes, bro. After
Yeah.
sannyas.
And his disciples thought that he had gone crazy, so they rubbed his head with Vishnu oil, the oil that cools the head. They thought he has gone crazy because he was so
Yes,
ecstatic. Okay, Haribol, first one, text number 7. Mattah parataram nanyat kinshidasti dananjaya mai sarvam idam protam sutre mani gana iva. Mattah, beyond myself, parataram, superior, na, not, anyat, anything else, kinshit, something, asti, there is, Dhananjaya, O conqueror of wealth, mayi, in me, sarvam, all that be, idam, which we see, protam, strung, sutre, on a thread, maniganaha, pearls, iva, likened. Translation. O conqueror of wealth, Arjuna, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a thread. Hmm. Which was, is this 7-7? One second. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. There is a common controversy over whether the Supreme Absolute Truth is personal or impersonal. As far as Bhagavad Gita is concerned, the Absolute Truth is the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, and this is confirmed in every step. In this verse in particular, it is stressed that the Absolute Truth is a person, that the personality of Godhead is the supreme absolute truth, is also the affirmation of the Brahma Samhita, Ishvara Paramah Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha. That is, the supreme absolute truth personality of Godhead is Lord Krishna, who is the primeval Lord, the reservoir of all pleasure, Govinda, and the eternal form of complete bliss and knowledge. These authorities leave no doubt that the absolute truth is the supreme person, the cause of all causes. The impersonalist, however, argues on the strength of the Vedic version given in the Shvetasvatara Upanishad, Tato yat uttarataram tad arupam anamayam ya etad vidur amritaste bhavanti ate tare dukkham evapi yanti. In the material world, Brahma, the primal living entity within the universe, is understood to be the supreme amongst the demigods, human beings, and lower animals. But beyond Brahma, there is the transcendence who has no material form and is free from all material contaminations. Anyone who can know him also becomes transcendental, but those who do not know him suffer the miseries of the material world. So this is with Mayavadis argue with this verse. Because here it is said that beyond Brahman there is transcendence who has no material form and free from all material. But they don't understand that the Lord form is not material, I think. The impersonalist puts more stress on the word arupam, but this arupam is not impersonal. It indicates the transcendental form of eternity, bliss, and knowledge as described in the Brahma Samhita quoted above. Other verses in the Svetasvatara Upanishad substantiate this as follows. Vedaham etam purusham mahantam adityavarnam tamacha parashtad tam eva vidvanam ritaya bhavati nanyaha pantha vidyate ayanaya yasmat param na param asti kinchid na jayo na jyayo stikinchit. I know that Supreme Person of Godhead who is transcendental to all material conceptions of darkness. Only he who knows him can transcend the bonds of birth and death. There is no way for liberation other than this knowledge of that Supreme Person. There is no truth superior to that Supreme Person because he is the supermost. He is smaller than the smallest and he is greater than the greatest. He is situated as a silent tree and he illuminates how is this said? Is it illumines or illumines? I would I would thought it's illuminates, but what is illumines?
Illumine,
Lumin.
illumine, illumine.
Illumine. Weird word. He illumines. Yeah, he illumines the transcendental sky, and as a tree spreads its roots, he spreads his extensive energies. From these verses, one concludes that Supreme Absolute Truth is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is all pervading by his multi energies, both material and spiritual. So, which verse is this? Let's see. Bhagavad 7.7. Svetasvatara Upanishad 3.8 and 9. What was the verse? I know the soup is transcendental too. Okay, let's save it also. Okay, who wants to read the next one?
Yes, bro. रसोऽहं पशुकोऽन्त या प्रभा प्रभास्मि शशिसूर्यः प्रणवः सर्ववेदेषु शब्दः खे पुरुष पौरुषं नरषु रसः taste aham I apsu in water Kaunteya O son of Kunti Prabha Asmi I am the light Sasi Surya in the sun and the moon Pranavaha Pranavaha the tree the three letter A-U-M Om Sarva in all Vedeshu in the Vedas Sabdaha sound vibration Ki in the Veda Purusham ability Nrashu in man Translation O son of Kunti Arjun I am the taste of water, the light of the sun, and the moon of the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. I am the sound in either an ability in man. Purport.
Yes, this is really nice verse for the atheist who ask that how can you see God? And this is explained how
Yes, Prabhu.
God can be seen.
This verse explain how the Lord is all pervasive by his diverse material and spiritual energies. The Supreme Lord can be primarily perceived by his different energies, and this way he is realized personally. As the demigod in the sun is a person is perceived by all pervading energy and sunshine similarly the Lord all through in his eternal abode is perceived by his all pervading diffusive energies. The taste of water is the active principle of water. No one like to drink sea water because the pure taste of water is mixed with salt. So, attraction for water depends on the purity of the taste, and this pure taste is one of the energies of the Lord. The impersonalist perceive the presence of the energies of the Lord. The impersonalist perceive the presence of the Lord in water by its taste, and the personalists also glorify the Lord for his kindly supplying water to quench man's thirst. That is the way of perceiving the supreme. Practically speaking, there is no conflict between personalism and personalism. One who know God know that impersonal conception and personal conception are simultaneously present in everything, and that there is no contradiction. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya established his sublime doctrine, Achinte Bheda and Bheda Tattvam, simultaneously one and different. The light and the sun the moon is also originally emanating from the Brahmajyoti, which is the impersonal effulgence of the Lord. Similarly, Pranava, or the Omkara, transcendental sound used in the beginning of every Vedic Homa to address the Supreme Lord also emanates from his because the impersonalists are very much afraid of addressing the Supreme Lord Krishna by his innumerable names. They prefer to vibrate the transcendental sound Omkara. But they do not realize that Omkar is the sound representative presentation of Krishna. The jurisdiction of Krishna consciousness extends everywhere. And one who knows Krishna consciousness is blessed. Those who do not know Krishna are in those who do not know Krishna are in illusion. And so knowledge of Krishna is liberation and ignorance of his bondage.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
May I read, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Please, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Punyo Gandha Prithvi Prithivyam Cha Tejas Chasmi Vibhavasu Jivanam Sarvabhuteshu Chasmi Tapasvisyu Punya original Gandha fragrance uh, Prithviyam in the earth Cha also it is Teja temperature Cha also Asmi I am Vibhava. So in the fire, Jivanam, life, Sarva, all, Bhuteshu, living entities, Tapaha, penances, Cha also, Asmi, I am, Tapasvisu, in those who practice penances. Translation: I am the original fragrance of the earth, and I am the heat in the fire. I am the life of all that lives, and I am the penances of all ascetics. Purport: Punya means that which is not decomposed. Punya is original. Everything is the material world has a everything in the material world has a certain flavor or fragrance. As the flavor and fragrance in the flower or in the earth, in water, in fire, in air, etc. The sorry, the uncontaminated flavor, the original flavor, which permeates everything, is Krishna. Similarly, everything has a particular original taste, and these tastes can be changed by the mixture of chemicals. So everything original has come smell, some fragrance, and some taste. Vibha, Vibhava means fire. Without fire, we cannot run factories, we cannot cook, etc. And that fire is Krishna. The heat in the fire is Krishna. According to Vedic medicine, in indigestion, indigetions. Okay. Oh, is due to a low temperature in the belly. So even for digestion, fire is needed. In Krishna consciousness, we become aware that earth, water, fire, air, and every active principle, all chemicals and all material elements are due to Krishna. The duration of man's life is also due to Krishna. Therefore, by the grace of Krishna, man can prolong his life or diminish it. So, Krishna consciousness is active in every sphere. May I continue or who else want to continue, bro? Wants to continue.
Hare Krishna, Guru.
Hare Krishna, bro. Please accept my humble obeisance. Always Krishna Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Guru. Should I read, bro? Or you're continue? You are doing? Continue.
You can also read.
No, no, bro. You can read, bro. You can read.
Okay, bro. Uh, text 10. Bijam mam sarvabhutam vidhi partha sanatanam buddhimatam asmi tejasvinam aham. Bijam, seed, mam, me, sir, unto me, sarvabhutanam, of all living entities. Vidhi, try to understand. Partha, O son of Partha, Sanatanam, original, eternal. Sanatana means original, eternal. Buddhi, intelligence. Buddhimatam, of the intelligent. Asmi, I am. Teja, poweress, prowess. Prowess? Prowess. Tejasvinam, of the powerful. Aham, I am. Translation. O son of Pratha, know that I am the original seed of all existence, the intelligence of the intelligent, and the powers of the powerful man. Through translation again, show me please. Prowess. Pow. This powers spelling is okay, bro. Prowess.
Yes, Prabhu. It means many powers and really like power.
Oh, okay, bro. Purport.
Bijam means seed. Krishna is the seed of everything. In contact with material nature, the seed fructifies into various living entities, movable and inert. Bird, beast, men, and many others living creatures are moving living entities. Trees and plant, however, are inert. They cannot move, but only sand. Every entity is contained within the scope of 8 lakh uh, 84 lakh species. Some of them are moving and some of them are inert. In all cases, however, the seed of their life is Krishna. As stated in the Vedic literature, Brahman or the supreme absolute truth is that from which everything is emanating. Krishna is Parabrahma, Parabrahmana, the supreme spirit. Brahman means impersonal and Parabrahman is personal. Impersonal Brahman is situated in the personal aspect that is stated in the Bhagavad. Therefore, therefore, originally Krishna is the source of everything. He is the root. As the root of a tree maintain the whole tree, Krishna being the original root of all things, maintains everything in this material manifestation. This is also confirmed in the Vedic literature. Yato va imani bhutani jayante. The supreme absolute truth is that from which everything is born. He is the prime eternal among all eternals. He is the supreme living entity of all living entities. And he alone is maintaining all life. Krishna also say that he is the root of all intelligence. Unless a person is intelligent, he cannot understand the supreme personality of Godhead Krishna. बलम बलवता बलम बलवताम चह काम कामराग विवर्जिताम ध- धर्मा विरोधो भूतेषु कामो अस्मि भरतरिश्व. Balam, strength, Balavatam, of the strong, Cha, and Aham, I am, Kama, passion, Raga, attachment, Vivarjitam, devoid of, Dharma, Aviruddha, not against the religious principle, Bhutesu, in all beings, Kamaha, sex life, Asmi, I am, Bharat Rishva, or Lord of the Bharatas. Translation: I am the strength of the strong, devoid of passion and desire. I am sex life, which is not contrary to the religious principle. O Lord of the Bharatas, Arjuna. Bharat. Purport. The strong man's strength should be applied to protect the weak, not for the personal aggregation. Similarly, sex life, according to religious principle, dharma, should be for the propagation of the children, not otherwise. The responsibility of parents is then to make their offspring Krishna consciousness. Text 12. ये चैव चात्विका ये चैव सात्विका भाव राजस 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 तमश्च ये मत इवेति तन्विधि मत एविति तन्विधि न त्वहम तेषु ते मयि. ये all those cha and oh Krishna. Ye all those cha and ever certainly sattvika in goodness, bhava state of being, rajas mode of passion, tamas mode of ignorance, cha also, ye although, mata from me, ever certainly, iti thus, tan those, vidhi try to know, na not two but aham I, tesu in those, te they, my unto me. Translation. All states of being, be be they of goodness, passion, or ignorance, are manifested by me, by my energy. I am in I am in one sense everything, but I am independent. I am not under the mode of this material nature. Wow. Purport. All material activities in the world are being conducted under the three modes of material nature. Although these material modes of nature are emanation from the Supreme Lord Krishna, is not subject to them. For instance, under the state law, one may be punished, but the king, the lawmaker, is not subjected to that law. Similarly, all the modes of the material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, are emanation from the Supreme Lord Krishna. But Krishna is not subject to material nature. Therefore, he is nirguna, which means that these gunas or modes, although issuing from him, do not affect him. This is one of the special characteristics of Bhagavan or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Wow, very nice.
Prabhu, can I ask one question?
Yes,
I have
Prabhu.
a doubt. Like demigods also in three modes of nature.
Yes,
Material
Prabhu.
nature.
Even though Brahma also.
Oh,
Yes, Prabhu.
okay.
Including Brahma also.
Okay, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu, continue. Someone, please continue.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, who's next?
May I continue, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
May I,
Hey, Krishna.
may I continue?
Yes, yes, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Tribhir gunamayar bhavir ibhi sarvam idam jagat mohitam nabijayanti mam ebhya param evayam. Sorry. Okay. Tribhi, three gunamayahe, by the three gunas, bhavayu, state of being, ibhi, all this, sarvam, the whole world, idam, in this world, jagat, universe, mohitam, deluded, and na abhijayati, do not know, man to me, ebhya, above this, param, the supreme, avyayam, inexhaustible. Translation: deluded by the three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance. The whole world does not know me, who am above the modes and inexhaustible. Prabhu, if we in good like one situations, we are in passion, we are in ignorance. How to come to goodness, Prabhu? Uh, on that on that time, how to come to goodness, Prabhu?
Who has answer?
Prabhu?
I was asking, does anyone want to answer? What would be how to come to the platform of goodness?
Well, as Prahlad Prabhu told me, wake up in the morning, and have Mangala Arati and chanting the rounds as soon as possible in the morning.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Like we will chant daily, like morning, and we will continue. But if one situations, it will come like afternoon or evening or any time, any one situations, we go to passion, and how to overcome to goodness, Prabhu, that time.
I'm not sure what do you mean, like eating prasada and chanting. I'm not sure what you're. when you're not in the mood of sleep. But then you just have to wake up early.
Yeah, this is the
That's how
answer actually
Okay.
from Bhagavad Gita 6:22. We read this maybe week ago, that from wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self. And this happens only by chanting, especially when we are tested by Maya, when we notice that, oh, because we should we should not think that we need to only chant all rounds, because after finishing the rounds on beats, whatever you do, you can always continue chanting. You don't have to count it by beats, but you can always chant. And if you are always trying to constantly chant more and more in this way, then these attacks of passion and ignorance will lessen, because this chanting will keep us in Shuddha Sattva platform, and we won't be affected even by goodness. So this chanting is there. And whenever our mind wanders away from the name of Hare Krishna, whenever we don't have that in our mind, then we have to bring it back somewhere or other.
Okay. Okay, Prabhu. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Okay. Purport: the whole world is enchanted by three modes of material nature. Those who are bewildered by these three modes cannot understand that transcendental to this material nature is the Supreme Lord, Krishna. In this material world, everyone is under the influence of these three gunas and is those bewildered. By nature, living entity have particular type of body and particular type of psycho, psychistic and biological activities accordingly. There are four classes of men functioning in the three material modes of nature. Those who are purely in the mode of goodness are called Brahmanas. Those who are purely in the mode of passion are called Kshatriyas. Those who are in the modes of both passion and ignorance are called Vaishyas. Those who are completely in ignorance are called Shudras, and those who are less than that are animals or animal life. However, these designations are not permanent. I may neither be Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or whatever in any case. This life is temporary, but although life is temporary and we do not know what we are going to be in the next life, still by the spell of this illusionary energy, we consider ourselves in the light of these bodily conceptions of life, and we those think that we are American, Indian, Russian, or Brahmana, Hindu, Muslim, etc. And if we become entangled with the modes of material nature, then we forget the supreme personality of Godhead, who is behind all these modes. So Lord Krishna says that men deluded by these three modes of nature do not understand that behind the material background is the supreme Godhead. Therefore, there are many different kinds of living entities, human beings, demigods, animals, etc. And each and every one of them is under the influence of material nature, and all of them have forgotten the transcendental personality of Godhead. Those who are in the modes of passion and ignorance, and even those who are in the mode of goodness, cannot go behind the impersonal Brahman conceptions of the absolute truth. They are bewildered before the Supreme Lord in his personal feature, which possesses all beauty, opulences, knowledge, strength, fame, and renunciation. When even those who are in goodness cannot understand, what hope is there for those in passion and ignorance? Krishna consciousness is transcendental to all these three modes of material nature, and those who are truly established in Krishna consciousness are actually liberated. Reward. Wants to continue?
Ribol.
Hello.
Oh,
See, this is also one practical, like, how to explain? This is about the mode of goodness, how we can like experience that we are in the mode of goodness, and in which way we can come to the mode of goodness. So all the 9 gates of body needs to be engaged. The manifestation of the mode of goodness can be experienced when all the gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge. So all the gates of body has to be illuminated by knowledge. And in the here in the purport, Prabhupada explains that, which is not here. Oh, it's not in this one. 1 second. Yeah, that purport seemed too short. Because I was looking at this. This should be the whole purport, I think. I don't know why it wasn't there. Okay, the manifestations of the mode of goodness can be experienced when all the gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge. The 9 gates of the body, 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, the mouth, the genital, and the anus, are said to be illuminated when a person's behavior is in the mode of goodness. In the practice of Krishna consciousness, the devotee engages all the gates, the whole body, to reach the stage of pure goodness. For example, the devotee uses the eyes and ears to read and hear the scriptures, the nostrils to smell flowers offered to the Lord, and the mouth to taste food offered to the Lord, and to chant the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Chanting and following the 4 regulative principles, no meat eating, illicit sex, intoxication, or gambling, gradually take a devotee to the mode of goodness and then to transcendence. So this here is many ways of if one feels the effect of passion and ignorance coming or increasing, then in these ways one can transcend the modes. Okay. Were we here? Ero Prabhu, will you continue?
yes.
Go on.
Daiviyesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mam eva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. Daivi, transcendental, he certainly, Esha, this, Gunamayi, consisting of the 3 modes of material nature, Mama, my, Maya, energy, Turatyaya, very difficult to overcome, Ma, unto me, Eva, certainly, Ye, those, Prapatyante, surrender, Mayam, Etam, this illusory energy, Taranti, overcome, They, translation, this divine energy of mind consisting of the 3 modes of material nature is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has innumerable energies, and all these energies are divine. Although the living entities are part of his energies and are therefore divine, due to contact with material energy, their original superior power is covered. Being thus covered by material energy, one cannot possibly overcome its influence. As previously stated, both the material and spiritual natures, being emanations from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are eternal. The living entities belong to the eternal superior nature of the Lord, but due to contamination by the inferior nature, matter, their illusion is also eternal. The conditioned soul is therefore called Nityapatta, or eternally conditioned. No one can trace out the history of his becoming conditioned at a certain date in material history. Consequently, his release from the clutches of material nature is very difficult, even though that material nature is an inferior energy, because material energy is ultimately conducted by the supreme will, which the living entity cannot overcome. Inferior material nature is defined herein as divine nature due to its divine connection. It's defined here as due to its divine connection and movement by the divine will. Being conducted by divine will, material nature, although inferior, acts so wonderfully in the construction and destruction of the cosmic manifestation. The Vedas confirm this as follows: Mayam tu prakritim vidyan mayinam tu maheshwaram. Although Maya, I'm sorry, is false or temporary, the background of Maya is the supreme magician, the personality of Godhead, who is Maheshwara, the supreme controller. Another meaning of guna is robe. Oh, yes, I was okay. Another meaning of guna is robe. It is to be understood that the conditioned soul is tightly tied by the ropes of illusion. A man bound by the hands and feet cannot free himself. He must be helped by a person who is unbound. Because the bound cannot help the bound, the rescuer must be liberated. Therefore, only Lord Krishna or his bona fide representative, the spiritual master, can release the conditioned soul. Without such superior help, one cannot be freed from the bondage of material nature. Devotional service or Krishna consciousness can help one gain such release. Krishna, being the Lord of illusory energy, can order the insurmountable energy to release the conditioned soul. He orders this release out of his causeless mercy on the surrendered soul and out of his paternal affection for the living entity who is originally a beloved son of the Lord. Therefore, surrender under the lotus feet of the Lord is the only means to get free from the clutches of the stringent material nature. The words Mam Eva are also significant. Mam means unto Krishna, Vishnu, only, and not Brahma or Shiva. Although Brahma and Shiva are greatly elevated and are almost on the level of Vishnu, it is not possible for such incarnations of Rajoguna and Tamoguna to release the conditioned soul from the clutches of Maya. In other words, both Brahma and Shiva are also under the influence of Maya. Only Vishnu is the master of Maya. Therefore, he can alone give release to the conditioned soul. The Vedas confirm this in the phrase Tvam eva viditva, or freedom is possible only by understanding Krishna. Even Lord Shiva affirms that liberation can be achieved only by the mercy of Vishnu. Lord Shiva says, Mukti pradata sarvesham Vishnur eva na samsaya. There is no doubt that Vishnu is the deliverer of liberation for everyone. Hare Krishna.
Where does Lord Shiva say this? Can we know?
I don't know.
No, it's not shown. He alone can give release to the okay. Okay, last one. Haribol. Namam duskritino muda prapatyante naradama mayaya partakyana asuram bhavamashritaha. No, not mam unto me. Duskritina, miscreants, muda, foolish. Prapatyante, surrender. Naradama, lowest among mankind. Mayaya, by the illusory energy. Aparta, stolen by illusion. Jnanaha, knowledge. Asuram, demonic. Bhavam, nature. Ashritaha, accepting. Translation. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. This Krishna says Muda. It is said in the Bhagavad Gita that simply by surrendering oneself unto the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, one can surmount the stringent laws of material nature. At this point, a question arises. How is it that educated philosophers, scientists, businessmen, administrators, and all the leaders of ordinary man do not surrender to the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, the all-powerful Person of Godhead? Mukti, or liberation from the laws of material nature, is sought by the leaders of mankind in different ways and with great plans and perseverance for a great many years and births. But if that liberation is possible simply by surrendering unto the lotus feet of the Supreme Person of Godhead, then why don't these intelligent and hard-working leaders adopt this simple method? The Gita answers this question very frankly. Because they're grossly foolish. Those really learned leaders of society like Brahma, Shiva, Kapila, the Kumaras, Manu, Vyasya, Devala, Ashita, Janaka, Prahlad, Bali, and later on Madhavacharya, Ramanujacharya, Sri Chaitanya, and many others, who are faithful philosophers, politicians, educators, scientists, etc., surrender to the lotus feet of the Supreme Person, the all-powerful authority. Those who are not actually philosophers, scientists, educators, administrators, but who pose themselves as such for material gain, do not accept the plan or path of the Supreme Lord. They have no idea of God. They simply manufacture their own worldly plans and consequently complicate the problems of material existence in their vain attempts to solve them. Because material energy, nature, is so powerful, it can resist the unauthorized plans of the atheists and baffle the knowledge of planning commissions. The atheistic plan makers are described herein by the word duskritina or miscreants. Kritina means one who has performed meritorious work. The atheist plan maker is sometimes very intelligent and meritorious also, because any gigantic plan, good or bad, must take intelligence to execute. But because the atheist brain is improperly utilized in opposing the plan of the Supreme Lord, the atheistic plan maker is called duskritina, which indicates that his intelligence and efforts are misdirected. In the Gita, it is clearly mentioned that material energy works fully under the direction of the Supreme Lord. It has no independent authority. It works as the shadow moves in accordance with the movements of the object. But still, material energy is very powerful, and the atheist, due to his godless temperament, cannot know how it works, nor can he know the plan of the Supreme Lord. Under illusion and the modes of passion and ignorance, all his plans are baffled, as is the case of Hiranyakashipu and Ravana, whose plans were smashed to dust, although they were both materially learned as scientists, philosophers, administrators, and educators. These duskritinas or miscreants are of four different patterns, as outlined below. The mudas are those who are grossly foolish, like hard-working beasts of burden. They want to enjoy the fruits of their labor by themselves, and so do not want to part with them for the supreme. The typical example of the beast of burden is the ass. This humble beast is made to work very hard by his master. The ass does not really know for whom he works so hard day and night. He remains satisfied by filling his stomach with a bundle of grass, sleeping for a while under fear of being beaten by his master, and satisfying his sex appetite at the risk of being repeatedly kicked by the opposite party. The ass sings poetry and philosophy sometimes, but his braying only disturbs others. This is the position of the foolish fruity worker who does not know from whom he should work. He does not know that karma action is meant for yagna, sacrifice. Most often, those who work very hard day and night to clear their burden of self-created duties say that they have no time to hear of the immortality of the living being. To such mudas, material gains which are destructible are lives all in all, despite the fact that the mudas enjoy only a very small fraction of the fruit of labor. Sometimes they spend sleepless days and nights for fruitive gain, and although they may have ulcers or indigestion, they are satisfied with practically no food. They are simply absorbed in working hard day and night for the benefit of illusory masters. Ignorant of their real master, the foolish workers waste their valuable time serving Mammon. Unfortunately, they never surrender to the supreme master of all masters, nor do they take time to hear of him from the proper sources. The swine who eats the soil do not care to accept sweetmeats made of sugar and ghee. Similarly, the foolish worker will untiringly continue to hear of the sense enjoyable tidings of the flickering mundane force that moves the material world. 2. Another class of Duskritina or miscreant is called Naradama, or the lowest of mankind. Nara means human being, and Adama means the lowest. Out of the 8.4 million different species of living beings, there are 400,000 human species. Out of these, there are numerous lower forms of human life that are mostly uncivilized. The civilized human beings are those who have regulated principles of social, political, and religious life. Those who are socially and politically developed but who have no religious principles must be considered naradamas. Nor is religion without God religion, because the purpose of following religious principles is to know the supreme truth and man's relation with him. In the Gita, the person of Godhead clearly states that there is no authority above him, and that he is the supreme truth. The civilized form of human life is meant for man's reviving the lost consciousness of his eternal relation with the supreme truth, the person of Godhead, Sri Krishna, who is all powerful. Whoever loses this chance is classified as Naradama. We get information from revealed scriptures that when the baby is in the mother's womb, an extremely uncomfortable situation, he prays to God for deliverance and promises to worship him alone as soon as he gets out. To pray to God when he is in difficulty is a natural instinct in every living being because he is eternally related with God. But after his deliverance, the child forgets the difficulties of birth and forgets his deliverer also, being influenced by Maya, the illusory energy. It is the duty of the guardians of the children to revive the divine consciousness dormant in them. The 10th process of reformatory ceremonies, as enjoined in the Manusmriti, which is the guide to religious principles, are meant for reviving God consciousness in the system of Varnasrama. However, no process is strictly followed now in any part of the world, and therefore 99.9% of the population is Naradama. When the whole population becomes Naradama, naturally, all their so-called education is made null and void by the all-powerful energy of physical nature. According to the standard of the Gita, a learned man is he who sees on equal terms the learned Brahmana, the dog, the cow, the elephant, and the dog-eater. That is the vision of the true devotee. Sri Nityananda Prabhu, who is the incarnation of Godhead as divine master, delivered the typical Naradamas, the brothers Jagai and Madai, and showed how the mercy of real devotees bestowed upon the lowest of mankind. So the Naradama, who is condemned by the Supreme Person of Godhead, can again revive his spiritual consciousness only by the mercy of a devotee. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in propagating the Bhagavad Dharma or activities of the devotees, has recommended that people submissively hear the message of the person of Godhead. The essence of this message is Bhagavad Gita. The lowest among human beings can be delivered by this submissive hearing process only. But it's hard because they are envious, so they don't want to hear submissively. But unfortunately, They even deny giving an oral reception to these messages, and what to speak of surrendering to the will of the Supreme Lord. Naradamas, or the lowest of mankind, will fully neglect the prime duty of the human being. I was also like this Naradama, oh Krishna. Number 3. The next class of Duskritina is called Maya Partagyana, or those persons whose erudite knowledge has been nullified by the influence of illusory material energy. They are mostly very learned fellows, great philosophers, poets, literati, scientists. But the illusory energy misguides them, and therefore they disobey the Supreme Lord. There are great numbers of Maya Partagyanas at the present moment, even amongst the scholars of the Gita. In the Gita, in plain and simple language, it is stated that Sri Krishna is the Supreme Person of Godhead. There is none equal to or greater than him. He is mentioned as the father of Brahma, the original father of all human beings. In fact, Sri Krishna is said to be not only the father of Brahma, but also the father of all species of life. He is the root of the impersonal Brahman and Paramatma. The super soul in every entity is his plenary portion. He is the fountainhead of everything, and everyone is advised to surrender unto his lotus feet. Despite all these clear statements, the Mayaya Parthagyana deride the personality of the Supreme Lord and consider him merely another human being. They do not know that the blessed form of human life is designed after the eternal and transcendental feature of the Supreme Lord. All the unauthorized interpretations of the Gita by the class of Mayaya Parthagyana outside the purview of the Parampara system are so many stumbling blocks in the path of spiritual understanding. The deluded interpreters do not surrender unto the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, nor do they teach others to follow this principle. 4. The last class of Duskritina is called Ashuram Bhavam Ashrita. Ashuram Bhavam Ashrita, or those of demonic principles. This class is openly atheistic. Some of them argue that the Supreme Lord can never descend upon this material world. This is funny. This is so contradicting. They are atheistic, and at the same time they say that the Lord cannot descend. But how can they be not believe at the same time tell that he cannot descend?
Yes,
It,
Prabhu.
it means then they are believing if they say that he's there. But they are unable to give any tangible reasons as to why not. There are others who make him subordinate to the impersonal feature, although the opposite is declared in the Gita. Envious of the Supreme Person of Godhead, the atheist will present a number of illicit incarnations manufactured in the factory of his brain. Such persons, whose very principle of life is to decry the Person of Godhead, cannot surrender unto the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. Sri Yamunacharya Albandru of South India said, O my Lord, you are unknowable to persons involved with atheistic principles despite your uncommon qualities, features, and activities, and despite your personality being confirmed by all the revealed scriptures in the quality of goodness, and despite your being acknowledged by the famous authorities renowned for their depth of knowledge in the transcendental science and situated in the godly qualities. I wonder where is this said? It's a nice one. Therefore, 1. Grossly foolish persons. 2. The lowest of mankind. 3. The deluded speculators. 4. The professed atheists, as above mentioned, never surrender unto the lotus feet of the person of Godhead, in spite of all scriptural and authoritative advice. Unfortunate situation. Okay, now we need to go to Shikshastakam prayers. Cheto darpanamarjanam bhavamaha davagninirvapanam Shreyah kairava chandrika vitaranam vidyavadu jivanam anandam pudivardhanam pratipadam purnamritasvadanam sarvatma snapanam param vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam.
Nam Nam
Continue, bro. Continue.
Okay, bro. Continue. Continue.
Bro, please continue, bro.
नामकारी बहुधा निज सर्वशक्ति तत्रार्पिता नियमित स्मरणेन काला एतादृशी तव कृपा भगवन्नमापि दुर्दैव मे दृश्यामिह जनिनानुराग
त्रिनादपि सोनीचेन तरोरपि शश्नुना अमाननीयमानदेन कीर्तन्य सदा हरि
कवितां वा जगदीशकं मे मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भगवद्भक्तिरहैतुकी त्वयि
ऐनन्ततनुजा किङ्करं पतितां मां विषमे भवां बुधौ कृपा तव पादपङ्कजा स्थितधूलिसदृशं विचिन्तय
नैनं
नयनं
गलद
गदमशु अश्रु Continue, bro.
नैनं गलद अश्रुधाराय वदनं गदगद रुद्धाय गिरा पुलाकीर्निशितां वपु कदा तव नाम ग्रहे ग्रह ग्रहणे भविष्यति कृष्ण युगायितं
युगायितं
निमेषेण
निमेषेन चक्षुषा
प्रभु read bro okay
read. युगायितं निमेषेन चक्षुषा परिवर्षितं शून्यायितं जगत्सर्वं विरेण मे आशिष्यावापदारतं विनष्टु माम् अदर्शनं मरं हतं करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विदधातु लम्पटो मत्प्राणनस्सातु स एव न प्रहा
Ribol. Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious.
O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to the living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of the names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energy. There are not even hard and fast rule for the chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them.
One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking on self lower than the stew in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all senses of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly.
O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful men, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service birth after birth.
O son of Maharaj
O
Nanda.
son of
Yes, Prabhu. You can continue.
O son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servant. Yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of the death and place me one of the atom at your lotus feet.
O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up? And when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? And also when I can go to Pondicherry temple.
Hari bol.
Prabhu, what, Prabhu? What, Prabhu?
I was asking when I can go to Pondicherry temple.
Oh, Govinda, feeling I am considering a moment to be like 12 year or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrent of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence.
I know no one but Krishna has my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his emprise or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally. Hari Bol, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
की जय, प्रणाम संकीर्तन की जय, भजन की जय, नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय, श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य महाप्रभु की जय, शिला प्रभुपाद की जय, नित्य गौर प्रेमानंदे, श्री बोल।
Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Thank you so much.